Okay. Students have reported being a little bit overwhelmed by certain course pages that have a lot of folders within folders. So I am sort of putting this together to help both students and teachers kind of help with that. So we want to remember that students are at very different levels of, technology, fluency, and all that kind of stuff and usage. So we just want to make sure we're making things as easy to use as possible. And one of the tools that will help both students uh, and teachers is actually the calendar if you haven't started using that. So I'm going to click on the calendar and hopefully it's going to come up. There it is. And for every single course you have, you're going to see a different entrance color. I only have two because I just teach Avid, and then I'm enrolled in a teacher librarian course. So this says everything that I have. The kids can then click on it and see the assignment, view the item, all that kind of stuff. Or I guess I have edit because it's my assignment. All right, but it'll tell you everything that you have. Look in here. This is a TL Hangout, and they've just attached the link right there to Zoom, so it's really easy. So, and I just want to remind you that if you're using Zoom, and I'm going to show you how to add, just remind everybody how to add this in that whole Zoom invitation, you have a whole long invitation and a bunch of phone numbers and yada yada. Make sure you just grab this small link because that's what you need to copy. Even though you've copied the invitation and the link to that, you need to then go into that documentation and just copy the link and attach that. Okay, so now the other thing is, if let's say that you are using conferences. Okay. Also, this I'm doing the same thing from conferences that you would do with that putting that Zoom link. So, for example, on the conferences, so I've added conferences to Schoology. Then I also put the link to that class's. Oops, that didn't quite come up right, did it? To that class's conference page. So let me click conferences again. And here we are. So this should be all the conferences that I have for this particular class. So I am going to, even if I have multiple, I can always just, if I just do one at a time or just send them all of them so that they're aware of what they are. So now I've gone up here and I've grabbed the link to this page. Then when I go back to the class, I create an assignment for the conference because if I don't create the assignment, then it's not going to show up in that calendar. And that's that resource that we want to encourage students to use, who are specifically those who are feeling overwhelmed. So again, then I add the assignment. I just put in the name for the conference. Let's say I put the link. Now, whether I did a Schoology one and I'm linking to my Schoology page with all my conferences, or I have a Zoom conference where I grab that distinct link, I add that in. Again, any assignment that you have, please, for the sake of the students, just add it as a link to that page where it exists. I think it'll show up if it's a resource, but I can't play with that on this because it's sandbox and it doesn't give me quite the same functionality. And then so that they don't have to go back to folders, have everything that they need included and attached to that assignment. It'll really make everything easier for them. And honestly, when I was in grad school, they did that for us. Things were posted in multiple places, especially with good teachers. They really did do that. They didn't want you to miss a trick, and at this point there's a lot of stress, so we don't want to add anything into it. Okay, so I'm going to press cancel because I'm not really making this. You'd press create, of course. The other thing I just want to point out is that you have something called workload planning for your students. Oh, something went wrong. I'd love to show it to you. Let me see if I can get back. Try one more time. Um, anyway, if you go to workload planning, it'll tell you how many assignments each student has. It's very helpful. You may not want to use it all the time, but if you have a student who's telling you they're particularly stressed, you might want to look at it. If you've got a class of students who typically are, not that attentive, you might want to help them. You might want to look and see, what it's looking like. Or if you have a class of AP students who have tons of work, you might want to be checking that to make sure that you're not, adding more to their plate than is reasonable. Let's see if it'll show up. It's a really nice spreadsheet, but I guess not. All right, well, that's it. What can you say? Hope that helps. Oh, and please contact me if you need any help because no matter how basic you think it is, or if you think I should have already known this, I don't care. I'm happy to help. Please let me know. I'll set up a Zoom conference. I'll walk you through it. Anyway, that's that. Okay, thanks. Bye.